Greetings. Was asked to do a little bit of a tutorial on the GraphnCalc 83. So this is the emulator for the iPhone. So if you are using an Android phone, this will not be applicable to you. So the question was, how do I use the stat plot, or how do I get in and make a scatter plot? So we're going to go in just as we were with the standard calculator and hit stat, and then go to edit. And we enter in our data in L1 and L2 respectively, just like you see in the textbook videos. But in the textbook video, they come back and say, okay, on the standard calculator, you hit the y equals, and the y equals up at the top, you'll see plot 1, plot 2, plot 3. Well, that doesn't exist on the GraphnCalc, okay? So what do you do instead? So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to hit the second key. I'll write these down for you. You're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit the y equals. And when you get that, that actually gives you stat plot. And stat plot is where you go in to set all things that are important about the plot itself, okay? So you go ahead and hit second, stat plot, and then you have a whole bunch of choices in here. It doesn't look like it, but you do. If you touch on the actual graph type there, notice that it switched over to type, and you have all sorts of different ones that you can put in here. You can put a scatter plot, you can put in different marks, you can do histograms, you can do box and whisker plots, all sorts of different things. We are going to want the scatter plot. Your call what you want to use for your mark. Here, I'll go for the dot. And you can come in and change the color, make it any color you'd like it to be, all sorts of things. Okay, so once you're done with that, click on Done. And now notice the plus sign got highlighted automatically because I went in and updated the type of plot I wanted. But you can turn that on and off by simply just touching that X or the plus. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and just press Graph, okay? So go into the stat plot. Once you're in there, once you're in stat plot, then you're going to set it up to a scatter plot, and you're also going to pick your lists. That's actually really important too. I should probably stop and talk to you about that. The lists are X1 or L1, L2, etc. You can choose those or change those lists. The defaults are L1 and L2, and for our class, you're probably not going to need to adjust those. But if you're going to use this calc emulator in a stats course, you're going to want to know how to be able to do that. So let's click Done on there, and let's go back. All right, so now let's just go ahead and press Graph. And I already have been playing with this, so I have a glorious scatter plot that looks exactly how I want it to. But that isn't necessarily going to happen for you because the data points will be all over the place. So once you get into Graph, you're going to want to go down and hit Zoom. And once you hit your Zoom key, notice that you get all the same options that are on the physical calculator. And in particular, the option you're going to want down there is Zoom Stat. You see the last one in the list there? So you want to go Zoom Stat. And what that does for you is it gives you the window settings that are going to allow you to see your scatter plot on the screen. So while we're here, let's go ahead and be done. I'm going to show you a couple other options that you can do here. Is that, a few things you can do is if you click on the graph itself, you have all sorts of different backgrounds that you can do, okay? So if we go second format, which is second home, there's all sorts of things you can do there too, like you can change the background on the graph. So if I go and do graph now, I can use a white background. So play around with this thing. There are all sorts of features that are on this calculator that are not going to be on the physical one because you have a touch screen phenomena. So for example, you just have to touch the ordered pairs and it shows you what they are. You don't have to do any sort of crazy trace things. Okay, so that's it for the moment. I'm happy to do any additional work that you'd like to do with this emulator. If you have an iPhone, be glad to give you more tutorials on there.